Terrific Tuesday, everybody. We're back at it. It's been a little bit of a summer sadness for you guys. I apologize. We got a lot to talk about today. I got Sheduer Sanders and his stupid shit. I got the Dolphins Steelers trade going on. However, we are back, moving the change. You see the logo. I got me feeling nice. He woke up feeling dangerous today. Baker, Moneymaker, Mayfield, my doppelganger. I'm feeling it today. So, I want to start with the Sheduer Sanders thing. I hadn't talked about it in a couple weeks, but I want to discuss it now. Here we go again. I was right. Again, a segment of Sammy McIntyre was right. I was right. And everybody else was wrong. Okay? And I'm a humble guy. I take my blames for this. But I was right again. When you are a fifth-round pick that was perceived to be a first-round quarterback, you have zero, and I mean zero error of doing stupid shit. Okay? Bad. So you not only do this once, learn your lesson, okay. I've got a ticket. Everybody's gotten tickets before. Okay, you got to learn your lesson and move on. But it happened again. So, again, it's drip, 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 drip. And then we go back to before the night of the draft, and he's got legendary draft room. Bro, come on. You're a nice B prospect. You're nothing more than that, okay? And your dad, his name's Primetime for a reason. He had an ego as big as this goddamn room, okay? So, again, drip, 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 drip. And again, why are we pandering to him? Can we stop with this? Again, quarterback, I'm going to judge you more harshly. It's not a big deal. Yes, it is. When I got Baker Mayfield getting a police video, and I love Baker before he came out, that's a red flag. Okay? When you've got drip, drip, drip stuff, calling out teammates, being the dumbass, getting 2 tickets in a month, it's a drip, drip, drip effect. And I didn't love the pick when the Browns took him. But I know why they took him, because Jimmy Haslam is an impulsive prick that does this from time to time. I mean, he does. He took Deshaun Watson, which, I gotta say this. Him getting advice from Deshaun Watson has to be the funniest shit I've seen all day. I mean, seriously. Come on. If you want to learn advice from somebody, learn it from Joe Flacco, who's been a Super Bowl champion, been there, done that, been a pro in this league. Do not learn it from some creepy Bill Cosby wannabe having ass motherfucker, okay? Just being honest and upfront here, okay? So, and I didn't love the pick because I don't love his arm. I said that when they drafted, before in my mock, I said Saints because I felt like his arm, although not bad, not great, fits more in that southern region. And we got to see. I don't know how it's going to turn out in Cleveland. It's a shame because tonight, I was thinking on my way home tonight from the gym, is that I think Cleveland's got a really good team. I like their coach. I like their GM. They got good players. But it's ownership, man. When you got an impulsive owner pulling that trigger, being a dumbass doesn't help. So, enough of Sheduer Sanders. I was worn out by that, just talking about it, but I had to get it out. And, I'm going to get my Donald Trump voice. I love this country. I love America. We're going to go today. We're not going to stop winning. You're going to get tired of it. All right, enough with Trump. So, I just had to do a good impression there. So, Dolphins and Steelers had a trade yesterday. It broke when I was at work. So, here's the deal. Dolphins and Steelers made a trade. Okay, so the Dolphins got Minka Fitzpatrick back to Miami because he was in Miami, got drafted 2018. Then he goes to Pittsburgh. It's traded in that 2019 deal, if anybody remembers. And was a great player there. And he's still a really good player. Past his prime, but a pretty good player. And now he goes back to Miami. And Jalen Ramsey, that was in Miami, goes to Pittsburgh. And then Jonnu Smith, who was in Miami last year, had a really good Pro Bowl year. Started off in Tennessee. Got that big payday by New England. Still don't know why that didn't work out, but it is what it is. He had a career year last year. Hurt my Raiders in that game down in Miami. It is what it is. And then goes to Pittsburgh. So, my 2 takeaways, a couple things I wanted to talk about. I want to start on Miami side. So, I'm just going to chalk this down. Miami might have a bad record this year, and I'm not joking. They are becoming, to me, they're like the nicer version of the Browns. Cleveland's got the coach and the GM I trust, but they have the shitty owner, right? And Miami's kind of the same boat, except I I guess I kind of like the coach, but not really, because I think he's kind of quirky, a little weird. And, I don't know. There's something fishy going on. And, he was brought there to fix Tua. And while it has worked, and I've appreciated it, you can't trust them. They can't go out in the cold. I mentioned that at my Thanksgiving pod, watching that Green Bay gum up there. It looked like they just disappeared. But I just, with Miami, they're weird. And I think it's also because it's a glamour city. A lot's going on. I don't trust them. They're not tough enough. They're just, when I think of Miami, I'm thinking like flash and glamour and fast. They had that saying a couple years ago, greatest show on surf, and I believe it. It's true. And I also think Miami, even though Tua, I'm not the biggest Tua fan, and I often compared him, I feel like this might be a good comparison, is I felt like he was a better version of Sam Bradford coming out of college. And hear me out on this. Okay? Both went to powerhouse programs, Oklahoma, Alabama. Both had histories in college of injuries. Both, we weren't sure how they were going to hold up in the NFL level because of the pounding they were going to take. They weren't the biggest guys, although Tua was a little bit more bigger than Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford looks like a skinny version of a scarecrow, for crying out loud, especially when he stands in the pocket. We saw that. However, I don't know if Tua can elevate the people around him. Because I think Miami, in my opinion, in my estimation, did a shitty job of preparing Tua. We knew about the injury concerns in college. And what did you not do? You have to do two things. You got a short quarterback. I learned this today. You have to beef up those offensive guards. And I'm like, when the Saints had Drew Brees and they were humming, and they were a circus down there in that dome, and they were high-flying, they had Jari Evans and they had big guards, right? When they were humming, they had Jari Evans and they had whoever the guard was at the time. They had big, massive guards that can keep that the center guard center, intact. So make sure Drew Brees had time to throw. Because he wasn't a big guy, right? He was a shorter guy. Excuse me. So when I watched that, okay, so now Mike McDaniel comes from San Francisco, and I would think physical, tough. He's a run game coordinator. He's a genius. And the run game's worked, but I get less of the physicality. So that, to me, I don't understand. And I don't think you can fake toughness. And I don't think Mike McDaniel, they're not buying into him. I think the city's gotten to his head. And maybe he's just a good offense coordinator. This happens all the time. Okay? But I do think if they had a better coach down there, I don't know if you could succeed down in Miami. I just don't. I think it's a distracted city. I think guys get bored down there. There's so much shit going on. Kind of like New York a little bit, Chicago. There's just a lot going on. And I just feel like I trust, like, it's funny that the Heat are doing so well down there, but yet the Dolphins can't get the success. And I think it attributes to what I just mentioned with the Browns. Ownership matters in this league. And there's about half the teams in this league I trust with ownership. And, it's a problem I have with the Bears. It's a problem I have with the Jets. And it's drip, drip, drip. And I don't know how it's going to work out for Miami. I have a feeling they could be really bad this year. And I'll do my division predictions later down the road. But I just think Miami's done a shitty job. And the one thing you have to have is you have to have protection with Tua, and you have to have playmakers. And they got playmakers. We don't dispute that at all. They gave Jalen Waddle the money. They gave Tyreek Hill the money. But Tyreek Hill might be traded. I don't know. And then I read a story that they signed Darren Waller, who was retired. Then he's not. And they gave him like $5 million. I don't know. I guess it's an upgrade over Jonnu, although I would trust Jonnu Smith more because of the versatility. But I do understand him going to Pittsburgh, and I'll get to that in a second because of Arthur Smith connection from his time with the Titans. But I just think with Miami, they're kind of in a rebuild. And I feel like now it's like the role reversal because, okay, Tua, you were on a rookie contract. We gave you like cheap labor to build around, to put around you. And Mike McDaniel was in charge of taking care of Tua and getting him to that. I don't know if he's ever going to be elite guy like a Herbert, like a Mahomes. He's not on that level talent-wise. But in that, like, echelon, right? Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy-ish. But now, Tyron Armstead's not there. So now it's like, okay, to now elevate the people around you and get you to another level. Because Miami's been in the playoffs a couple times, but they have not won a playoff game since 2000 when I was 3 years old and when WWE was king. And I loved it, okay? So, listen, good for Miami. They got rid of the toxic people down there. But I still got question marks about the culture. I don't know if I trust it. You know, it's funny, Tampa Bay's killing it down there in the same state. But Miami isn't. It's just a weird dynamic. So I wanted to touch on the Pittsburgh side of it. I went on a little bit of a diatribe with the Dolphins, but I want to explain what I thought. So, Steelers got Jalen Ramsey, got out of that Miami situation. We all knew how that went down. Didn't trust Mike McDaniel. Did he like him? Did he not? I don't know. And they got Jonnu Smith, who I just mentioned. Arthur Smith has a history with, the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, from the Titans when the Titans drafted him back in the day. So, I don't love this move for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh I'm kind of done with. Like, I think they're just, it's time to move on. I've been saying it, but I don't think that's going to change. I don't trust this leadership, to me, in Pittsburgh. Ever since Kevin Colbert was the GM, ever since he left, I don't think they've been the same. And I know sometimes you need a new GM, you need new juice, I get it. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, if it ain't broke, keep the good train going. And I felt like Pittsburgh had a good thing going with Kevin Colbert. They drafted so well. And he was one of the well-respected GMs in football. With the Jason Lights and with the John Schneiders and with the Bryden Gudikins of the world. And maybe the Chris Ballards, even though the Colts haven't made the playoffs. But he's well-respected in the league. This Shad Khan guy, or whatever his name, Khan or something, I've been told is not respected in the league. And again, that's Albert Breer saying this. That's Peter Schrager. It's guys like that I know a little bit. Don't know him personally, but I know they give pretty good sourcing. So I don't get this at all. And I don't get with Pittsburgh. Okay, so you got rid of a dumbass dickhead receiver that's high maintenance and or George Pickens, who's a shitbird. And then you bring in another guy that's the same thing. Doesn't make sense. And then the Steelers get Jalen Ramsey, who's expensive and passes prime. And you take on his contract at $26 million. But yet, I mean, you get rid of a DB and then you bring in another guy that's past his prime. I just don't understand what Pittsburgh's doing. I think they're stupid. I think they're going to be the same that they were last year. I think they're worse. Now, I know they're going all in, trying to get one last run out of this for TJ Watt, which, by the way, that has not gotten done yet. It needs to get done. We're not even there yet. And Pittsburgh, what are they going to do? TJ Watt knows that he hasn't by the balls. There's TJ Watt jerseys all over Pittsburgh. So, again, like, I just don't know where this ends with Pittsburgh. I just don't get, like, what's the end game here? Are they going to be better than they were last year? At quarterback, maybe. I said it a couple weeks ago. But it's the same shit. I'm over talking about the Steelers. Nothing's going to change. They're not going to get rid of Mike Tomlin. They're just so loyal to him. And I just don't get how he's not fireable. But once again, I've been saying this for a while. He's got the FOP around him. He's got force field of popularity. You can't pick on him. You can finish third in the division. Never win a playoff game. You know, doesn't matter. So, again, I don't love... I mean, this trade to me was kind of like making moves to make moves. I throwing shit at a wall hoping it sticks. I mean, you bring in Aaron Rodgers, but that's a one-year rental. You know, this all feels like a one-year rental to me. They're becoming like the Jets of last year, where, except like the Jets are like just dysfunctional all around. Like the Steelers are just dysfunctional offensively. So I don't know where this goes from here. We'll wait and see. Is it old age or is it veterans? I don't know. But we'll see. So that's all I want to touch on tonight. Just want to do a quick pod, get my reactions on the trade and everything else. Hope you guys are doing well. Adios. Godspeed. Enjoy summer.